So I was going to be reviewing chapter 177 of My Hero Academia, but truth be told, I really can't think of much to talk about regarding this chapter, and additionally I wasn't the biggest fan of it. It wasn't a bad chapter by any means, like it's not badly written or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying to me this didn't really appeal too much to me, apart from a few things, and I thought I would be talking about those, but you could probably expect this video to be somewhat shorter, and obviously I'm not going to be talking about everything that went down in this chapter. I will only be talking about the things that really appealed to me the most, starting with Brava's Quirk. Now this is something that we didn't find out about, but we've now been teased by Horikoshi that we're gonna be finding out as to what Brava's Quirk might be. So originally I thought that Brava's Quirk would be something that is directly linked to her ability to be a great hacker. However, this chapter kind of made me rethink that, because it seems like Brava was planning on using her quirk on either Gentle or Deku, which kind of makes me think that this quirk is something entirely different. You know, I think Brava is a hacker by just being good with computers. I don't really think her quirk may have anything to do with that at all. I think her quirk is gonna be something else. Something that someone pointed out to me was that it might be something to do with love. And the reason is because looking at Brava and having read through the recent chapters, you can see a pattern that Brava has an interesting theme with love. Just looking at her visual appearance, you can see that there's a lot of hearts going on. You have the heart earrings, you have the heart girdle or belt, and on top of that, there's this heart shape around her pants. So this alone kind of gives us a hint or an idea that this may be something that's really important revolving Brava's character. We don't know if it has anything to do with her quirk, but we do know that it is something that is probably just more than visual appearance. I think there's a deeper meaning to it. I just can't really tell for sure what it's going to be. I think a lot of people will probably speculate that her quirk may be hacking. It could be something else. I think it's something else, simply based on what we read in this chapter. Had it been last week, I probably would have guessed something to do with hacking, because then I would have just guessed her quirk was simply going to be interacting with computers and whatnot to help her hack stuff. But if she's gonna use this quirk on a person, that means that it can't be just hacking. It has to be something else. It has to be something that works on a person. Hacking doesn't quite work on a person, if you ask me, unless it's some really complex shit with manipulating the genes and stuff, which I seriously doubt. I just don't see Horikoshi going down that route with Brava's character, because she doesn't really seem like the craziest character that we're gonna run into in the series. Don't get me wrong, she is a sidekick to Gentle. She's probably not as strong as Gentle, but I could be wrong. She could be extremely powerful and we just wouldn't know about it, but I just don't see that being the case as it is right now. So the same person kinda went in on something else, which was interesting. Not really gonna go in depth with it, but he did mention something about her being able to control the love within another person and absorb it sort of, and make herself bigger or smaller in size, kind of like Mount Lady. Not really gonna go too in depth on it. I don't personally hope that's the case, because, well, it would feel a lot too much like Mount Lady in my opinion, even if it operates very differently. So I kind of hope it's something else, but I do kind of believe it's gonna be something to do with love, honestly. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, especially since Gentle did say something about Brava's love in a few chapters back, around the same chapter when we found out how Brava met Gentle in the first place. The second thing I want to talk about is Gentle, but it's not really the fight with Deku. I mean, it happened during the fight with him, but it's not really the fight itself that I want to dig into. What I want to talk about is something that Gentle did in this chapter, which was the whole thing with the steel beam that Deku caught. And this is kind of where I was a bit iffy with the chapter, because it felt like Gentle was taking quite a big risk. And I know that he did say that, you know, if Deku didn't catch it, he would have made it bounce right back up. But given that he's said earlier on that he cannot consciously deactivate his quirk, it kind of made me feel that if the quirk were to deactivate on its own prematurely, that would have been a big risk for Gentle, because of the fact that that steel beam then would have hit the person, the pedestrian who was on the ground right below them. So I felt like it wasn't really out of character from Gentle. That's not really what I'm trying to get at, but it felt like he was taking a bit of a big risk, given that he calls himself the gentle villain. Speaking of gentle, of course, we have the whole thing with his quirk when he did say that he can't consciously deactivate his own quirk, which kind of confirms his drawback, which I think is a good thing. So we kind of know all we need to know about Gentle's quirk right now, I believe. We do know what it does. It's elasticity, which means it, you know, it's elastic. He makes stuff elastic, and he cannot deactivate it willingly. It has to gradually return to its original state, which could be a good thing in some cases, could be a really bad thing in other cases, you know, depends on what he uses the quirk for, when he uses the quirk, and so on and so forth. So I'm really glad we get to see his drawback really early on. You know, it's not really kept in the shadows or anything like that. I'm really happy about that. If there's one thing I really like about My Hero Academia, it's the quirk system. I really like how you have your quirk, but you also have limitations, you have drawbacks. Pretty much every quirk we've been introduced to have some kind of drawback, be it physical backlash, making you puke if you overuse it, or in Gentle's case, you just can't deactivate the elasticity by force. You have to wait until it gradually returns to its original state. Really happy about that. Well, I'm gonna end the video here, so let me know what you think down below about this chapter. Did you enjoy this chapter? Do you like how the fight is going so far? Are you excited about La Brava's quirk? Because La Brava's quirk is probably my biggest curiosity right now. I really need to find out what her quirk is, because it could be, you know, anything ranging from something to do with hacking to something entirely different, like, as I said, something to do with love. Anyway, let me know down below, and as always, if you did, be sure to Detroit smash that like button if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you haven't already. This has been Chaotic Plus, and remember everyone, Toga is waifu, Toga is Laifu.